With the release of its first season back in 2016, it didn't take long for This Is Us to become one of the greatest family dramas in the history of NBC. And with brilliant guests like Timothy Omundson rumored to return, it looks like the final season is gonna be a good one. But who were our favorite featured guest stars? And what made them so special? For all this and more, stay tuned. Number 1. Timothy Omundson as Gregory. First up on our list is none other than Timothy Omundson, who is best known for his portrayal of Gregory on the show. Born in St. Joseph, Missouri on the 29th of July, 1969, this incredible actor is already 52 years old and has spent over a decade making a name for himself in the filming industry. And although he has featured in some incredible properties ranging from Psych to American Housewife, it must be said that his recurring stint as Gregory on This Is Us is considered to be one of his favorite roles. As it turns out, Gregory wasn't actually meant to be a recurring character in the first place. But when Omundson read from the script on his first day, San Fogelman knew that he was about to create something special. In next to no time, Gregory went from being this miserable next-door neighbor to a man that was not only relatable, but beloved by the audience. And it might surprise you to hear that his health concerns were actually shared by Omundson in real life. After suffering from a stroke in April of 2017, he was told by doctors that his time as an actor was over. For the benefit of both the show and Omundson though, Fogel decided to bring back the actor despite his health concerns instead of writing them into the story to make things work. All things considered, it's no doubt that Omundson is one of the most special guest stars to feature. Number 2. Ron Cephas Jones as William Hill. Next up is Ron Cephas Jones, who worked tirelessly in order to bring the character of William Hill to life. And since he first appeared in the premiere episode of the show, it goes without saying that he's one of the longest standing guest stars in the history of the show. This isn't the only role that Jones has played over the years though. In fact, the 65-year-old actor has been involved in the industry for a great many years and is probably best known for the supporting roles he played in Looking for Alaska and Mr. Robot. In the show, we came to know him as the terminal father of Randall though, who was brilliantly portrayed by Sterling K. Brown. And as any fan of the show will tell you, Jones was responsible for some of the greatest moments in the debut season of This Is Us. Watching the emotion flow through him throughout those difficult scenes is an experience that still haunts us to this day and shows just how impressive his acting actually is. According to his fellow cast and crew members, Jones was also responsible for some of the best improvisations to ever feature over the runtime of the franchise. In fact, that whole barber scene with Randall was performed completely off the cuff. And while he might have passed away in season 1, he's a character we won't forget anytime soon, especially with his small flashback appearances every so often. Number 3. Felicia Rashad as Carol Clark. And then we have Felicia Rashad, who was brought on to This Is Us back in season 3 in order to bring the character of Carol Clark to fruition. And since Rashad was born in Houston, Texas on the 19th of June, 1948, making her already 73 years young, it goes without saying that she has featured in many films and series over the years. In fact, Rashad is probably best known for her reoccurring spot on The Cosby Show, where she cracked viewers up alongside other famous guest stars. When it comes to the modern audience though, she's probably best known for her role in the Creed franchise as well as This Is Us. The main reason why Felicia Rashad made such an imprint through her characterization of Carol Clark has to do with her ability to truly support the character around her. She proudly represents the principle of always the bridesmaid, never the bride, with Clark as a character being used to help viewers understand what really made Khaleesi Watson's character, Beth Pearson, so formidable. They say that if you want to know more about a woman, you should always look at her mother, and nothing can be truer than when comparing Beth and Carol. And according to reports from the set, Carol as a character was actually written a bit differently. It was Rashad who changed her to be more in line with Beth, helping viewers by showing just how motivated both women were. Number 4. Gerald McRaney as Dr. K. Another guest star that deserves a place on this list is Gerald McRaney, who quickly became a fan favorite after he made his first appearance as Dr. K on the show. Born in Collins, Mississippi back in August of 1947, it goes without saying that McRaney had lived a long and interesting life. Having been married a grand total of 3 times over the runtime of his career, the man behind Dr. K has learned a lot, even appearing on titles like NCIS Los Angeles and Deadwood. because of his ability to portray emotional and logistically sound characters, but it was his position as Dr. K that really made him shine in the modern era, especially when the good old doctor helped Jack and Rebecca get through one of the toughest times of their life. We are, of course, referring to the loss of one of their triplets during childhood, without having someone as strong as Dr. K standing right by them and guiding them through the trauma that comes with losing a child. We doubt that the couple would have lasted much longer, and it's this supporting role that really made audiences appreciate him as a character. Before then, he was nothing more than a sweet doctor, but afterwards, he was practically family. That's not all fans loved about him though. The words of wisdom he drops make him one of the most quotable guest stars on the list, and we hope to see more of him in the future. Number 5. Ryan Michelle Bath as Yvette. Next up on our list is Ryan Michelle Bath, who appeared in around 4 episodes throughout the duration of the show as the one and only Yvette. And despite her being such a small character, her presence in our hearts couldn't have been any bigger. The incredible actress was actually born in St. Louis, Missouri on the 27th of July 1976, making her just 45 years old at the moment. That being said, Bath has had a pretty great stint in the filming industry, appearing behind some of our favorite stars in titles such as Boston Legal and Army Wives. That being said, she never stuck around long enough for a bigger break, instead choosing to marry fellow actor Sterling K. Brown with the intention of starting a family. That being said, she has some serious skills and made a solid impact on the show when she portrayed Yvette and cornered Brown's character. Who can forget how much of an influence she had on his life? Convincing Randall that he needed more black friends in his life, with his culture slowly being engulfed by the white neighborhood around him. We also came to understand Randall a lot better through their serious conversations with one another. We always knew there was a little bit of a connection between the two of them, but we had no idea that Bath was actually Brown's wife in the real world. Suffice to say, we wouldn't mind seeing her appear in the final season. Number 6. Ron Howard as himself. Last but not least, we have Ron Howard, the 67-year-old film director who's best known for the creation of credited series like Happy Days and The Andy Griffith Show. And who could forget the moment that he appeared on This Is Us as himself? He was actually one of the first guest stars to ever appear on the franchise and slipped in easily as the man who noticed Kevin's ability to act while watching his play in New York City. When asked about his performance on the show, Howard mentioned that it was great to show what scouting talents used to look like. Now that there are auditions upon auditions, directors don't really have to scout all that much. Going back to his roots felt right, which is why he absolutely loved portraying himself on the show. He was far from the only non-actor cameo though. As an honorable mention, we thought we referred to another one of our favorites. We're of course referring to the appearance of director M. Night Shyamalan, who too found himself portraying a director who noticed how talented Kevin was. And while we'll never see these characters again, their appearances were most certainly memorable ones. And there you have it, some of the best guest stars to ever feature in This Is Us. Which was your favorite appearance though? And do you think that Timothy Omundson should return one last time for season 6? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. Catch you on the next one.